You ever met someone who smiles in your face but low-key hopes you trip on the way up? Yeah. The kind who says, "I'm so happy for you," but their eyes say, "Why not me?" Today, we're exposing the sneaky signs someone is smiling at you but silently judging the hell out of you. Because not all smiles are friendly. Some are just teeth hiding envy. But wait, before we dive in, if you're into deep, thought-provoking insights on Stoicism, self-mastery, and leveling up in a noisy world, you'll love my free newsletter. Every Sunday, I drop straight-up wisdom, controversial truths, and battle-tested life strategies right into your inbox. No fluff, no spam, just real talk that helps you grow. Want to join the tribe? Hit the link below and start feeding your brain something worth thinking about. And hey, if you're a brand that wants to align with content that cuts through the noise, reach out via the email in the description. Let's make something meaningful together. Now let's talk about those fake smiles. You ready? Number 1, their smile freezes the second you look away. Let's talk about the smile that dies when the audience disappears. You know the one. That too nice, I'm totally happy and thriving smile that's glued to someone's face while you're looking at them. But the very moment you turn your head or shift your attention elsewhere, bam! That smile evaporates like a Snapchat message at 2 a.m. It's subtle, it's surgical, and it's shady as hell. At first, you might not even notice it. You might tell yourself, they were just being polite. Maybe they're tired. But if you keep your eyes sharp and your spirit sharper, you'll start to catch it more and more. That performance smile, that I want you to think I support you, but I'm actually allergic to your success grin. Let's call it what it is, an emotional costume. Not all smiles are created equal. Some are genuine warmth. Others are carefully crafted masks meant to cover quiet resentment, competition, or even outright envy. Fake support is the new sabotage. In a world obsessed with being nice, we've created a culture where people would rather fake support than admit they're uncomfortable with your growth. So instead of saying, "Hey, your glow-up is triggering me because I'm stuck," they slap on a smile just long enough to keep up appearances. Then the second you're not watching, boom, their true face leaks through. It's not hate, it's worse. It's dishonest indifference. I remember back when I first started creating content that actually got traction, not viral, but consistent. I was in a small mastermind group with friends I genuinely believed were rooting for each other. One day, I announced I'd landed my first paid sponsorship. It wasn't a life-changing deal, but to me it was validation, proof that what I was building had value. One of the guys smiled, real big, did the whole "bro, that's amazing," with the high five and everything. But here's the thing. I caught him 2 minutes later when I turned to grab my drink. That smile? Gone. His eyes? Blank, almost irritated. And I'll never forget the way he suddenly brought up all the things he was working on that were about to take off any minute. It wasn't a conversation. It was a competition he didn't want to admit he was having with me. That was the first time I realized some people smile not to celebrate you, but to keep you from seeing how much your success bothers them. Let's go deep for a second. A fake smile, especially the kind that freezes the moment attention shifts, is a form of emotional self-protection. For many, smiling isn't a sign of joy. It's a coping mechanism. They see you winning, evolving, rising, and instead of confronting their own stagnation, they put on a pleasant face so they don't have to deal with the inner discomfort. But here's the kicker. That discomfort, that tension behind their eyes, that's the truth trying to surface. It's easy to get mad at people like this. But if we're being brutally honest, haven't we all worn that smile at least once? Come on, be real with me for a second. Haven't you ever smiled at someone achieving what you secretly wanted, and then went home wondering why your own life wasn't moving like theirs? I have, more times than I'm proud of. And every time, that frozen smile taught me something. It taught me where I was still comparing instead of creating. It taught me that envy is just ambition that's been misdirected. You ever watch someone smile like their face is being held hostage by social expectations? Like their lips are doing their job, but their soul already clocked out? You could win a Grammy, and they'd be clapping like you just won Employee of the Month at Applebee's. No excitement, no sparkle, just that awkward, frozen, please don't look too closely grin. You know what I call that? Smile inflation. Too many people faking support, and not enough actually feeling it. We're drowning in emojis and hollow, proud of you, while people secretly hope you fumble so they can stop pretending to cheer. Here's the truth that stings but sets you free. Not everyone who smiles at you is safe. And that's okay. We were never meant to be universally celebrated. We were meant to discern. Your job isn't to get everyone to clap louder. Your job is to recognize whose smiles stay lit even when you're not watching. That's real love, real friendship, real alignment. Sometimes, the person whose smile fades the fastest is you. Smiling at others while secretly judging yourself. Rooting for others online while quietly resenting your own timeline. But awareness is power. Once you catch the frozen smile, whether in others or yourself, you have a choice: to confront it, to understand it, and to rise above it. Number 2, they always bring up your past. Mistakes disguised as jokes. Ah yes, the just kidding assassin. The friend, co-worker, or cousin who can't seem to talk to you without dragging one of your worst moments out of the emotional basement and dressing it up as a punchline. They always say it with a smile, a laugh, maybe even a playful nudge. But the joke hits different, because it's not about something lighthearted. It's about that one mistake you made years ago, the one you've grown from, outlived, or maybe still feel a little shame about. And somehow, they find a way to make it the centerpiece of every conversation. At parties, in front of new people, right after you announce a win while you're doing better. Yeah, that person. Let's not sugarcoat this. Bringing up someone's past as a joke is often just disguised insecurity or a power play. It's the passive-aggressive person's favorite weapon. They wrap their judgment in humor, then call you too sensitive if you don't laugh along. But ask yourself this: why is your growth threatening their comfort? Why is your past the only version of you they're willing to celebrate? Because some people can't handle your evolution, so they try to keep you stuck in a memory where they felt more powerful than you. You know the line, "Remember when you got fired from that job because you couldn't show up on time? Ha ha ha, wild days." Or, "Ha ha ha, remember when you dated that walking red flag? What were you thinking?" Or my personal favorite, "Dude, remember that time you tried to start a YouTube channel and got like 12 views? LMAO now." Let's pause. Why are we laughing? Because what they're really saying is, hey, don't get too confident. I remember when you weren't so impressive. It's a subtle attempt to anchor your identity to an outdated version of yourself, so they don't have to deal with the discomfort of watching you grow into someone they no longer outrank. Emotionally, socially, or spiritually. I'll never forget this moment. I had just launched my newsletter. It was rough in the beginning. Small list, low engagement. But I kept going. I refined my writing, my message, my consistency. Months later, I shared on a group call that the newsletter had grown past 10,000 subscribers and was opening doors I didn't think were possible. One guy, who'd been around since the beginning, grinned and said, "Ha ha, wow man, that's dope. I remember when you were sending emails that were basically motivational tweets in paragraph form. Cringe days, bro." Cue laughter from him. Not me. And the room got awkward. Because here I was, proud of my journey, and he reduced it to a joke about my starting point, a point I had to drag myself out of. I laughed politely, then quietly removed myself from that relationship over the next few months. Why? Because that wasn't a memory. That was a leash. And I'd rather walk alone than stay leashed to someone who only remembers me by my lowest points. People who constantly bring up your past mistakes often do so because it makes them feel superior. It keeps you in your place emotionally. It helps them avoid confronting their own stagnation. Here's the kicker. If you've changed, your past doesn't bother you, but it still bothers them. Why? Because your growth highlights their lack of growth. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You outgrowing your old self often means outgrowing people who preferred the old version of you. Can we just agree that "it's just a joke" is the adult version of "I'm not touching you"? You're 30 years old, Kyle. You're not just joking when you bring up my failed business in front of my new investor. You're not just teasing when you bring up my drunk breakup story at a family reunion. You're just insecure and trying to bury that under sarcasm and cheap laughs. Grow up. Real friends don't reduce you to your worst moments. They reference your past only to highlight how far you've come. Not to remind you where you fell. Be mindful of who keeps bringing up the version of you that no longer exists. Because while it might look like they're laughing with you, they're really trying to trap you in a version of yourself they're more comfortable with. And to be even more real, sometimes we're the ones doing this to others. Maybe it's time to ask ourselves, am I laughing at someone's old wounds because I haven't dealt with my own? Growth means letting go. Not just of who we were, but of who we need others to stay in order to feel okay with ourselves. Number 3, their eyes don't match their smile. You know what's terrifying? A smile that doesn't reach the eyes. You've seen it. We all have. That tight-lipped, too perfect, almost plastered-on expression that says, "Look, I'm smiling." But deep down, it's more like, "I'd love to see you fall flat on your face." It's that expression where the lips curl upward, but the eyes stay dead, emotionless, cold, calculating, like a mask that slipped just a bit, but not enough to reveal the monster behind it. Not everyone who smiles at you is rooting for you. Some people are clapping with their hands while praying for your downfall in their hearts. Some people are cheering for you out loud, but secretly hoping you'll mess up. Just so they can say, "See, I knew it wouldn't last." We live in a culture that worships image. Smiling is polite. It's expected. But when the smile is hollow, when the eyes aren't lit up with real connection, admiration, or joy, you're not witnessing friendliness. You're witnessing performance. And let me tell you something. Fake love is more dangerous than open hate. You tell someone good news. "Hey, I got the promotion. I finally started my business. We're moving into our new place." And they say, "Oh my God, that's amazing. So happy for you." But their eyes? Flat, disconnected. They're looking through you. It's like they're smiling because they have to, not because they want to. You can feel it. There's a chill behind their cheer. Their smile is Hollywood. Their eyes are CCTV footage. A few years ago, I hit a major milestone in my personal development journey. Quit a toxic job, started freelancing full-time, doubled my income in 6 months. I was finally in alignment, mentally, financially, and emotionally. I met up with an old friend, the kind I used to vent to when I was broke, confused, and depressed. I told him everything, expecting excitement, support, maybe even a "bro, I'm proud of you." Instead, he smiled, but his eyes were blank. Not proud, not happy, just neutral, maybe even a bit threatened. Then he said, "Wow, must be nice. Not everyone's that lucky." It was subtle, but in that moment I realized he liked me more when I was struggling, when we were on the same level, when I was losing. That smile wasn't support, it was social camouflage. We are evolutionarily wired to read facial expressions. Before we had language, we had micro-expressions. The eyes and mouth tell two different stories when someone isn't being genuine. So when the eyes don't match the smile, your nervous system notices, even if your conscious mind tries to ignore it. And most of us do ignore it because we don't want to seem paranoid. We want to believe that everyone who smiles at us has pure intentions. But discernment isn't paranoia, it's survival. If something feels off, it is off. That's not overthinking. That's emotional intelligence. Real talk. Some of y'all are getting hyped by people who look like they learned how to smile in a customer service training video. You post a win on Instagram and get 200 likes. But only 3 people look you in the eye in real life and say, "You deserve it." And those other smiles? They're the same ones you see in corporate headshots. Polished, professional, empty. It's like being hugged by someone wearing body armor. You feel the gesture, but not the warmth. Tension in the face. The cheeks are up, but the muscles are tight. No crinkle near the eyes. Genuine joy creates crow's feet. Sorry, Botox, but you're part of the problem. Delayed reaction. Real happiness is instinctual. Fake approval comes with a buffer. Quickly changing the subject anyway is code for, "I'm done pretending to be happy for you." A smile without sincerity is a threat in disguise. We need to stop teaching people to chase approval and start helping people recognize alignment. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't need 100 smiles. You need 5 pairs of eyes that light up when you walk into the room. The truth is, we've been taught to fear enemies who shout. But the real danger often comes from friends who smile silently while holding envy in their eyes. So here's what I've learned. Always listen to the face behind the smile. The mouth lies. The eyes don't know how. Number 4, they compliment you, but it's weirdly specific. Let's talk about compliments. Not the warm, sincere kind that makes you feel seen. I'm talking about those weirdly specific surgical strike compliments. The ones that sound nice on the surface, but something about them makes your skin itch and your soul say, "Wait a second." You ever get a compliment so oddly phrased that you walk away smiling on the outside, but your gut is in the back like, "Yo, was that a diss in disguise?" Welcome to the world of covert competition and calibrated condescension. Not all compliments are meant to lift you up. Some are meant to confuse you, remind you of your place, subtly compare you to someone else, or worse, to frame your glow-up as a glitch in the matrix. That's the key. Weirdly specific compliments often aren't about celebration. They're about control. And if you're not paying attention, they'll mess with your head. You're actually really articulate. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, you pulled it off, even with your body type. You're surprisingly smart, like low-key genius level. I didn't know you had that in you. Wow, you look great in this lighting. Like what? Why are we qualifying praise like it's a court testimony? Why can't you just say someone looks good without implying it's some rare solar eclipse level event? Weirdly specific compliments are the favorite weapon of the friendly rival. Not an enemy, not a hater. Just someone who smiles at your success and then immediately tries to shrink it into something explainable, something digestible, something not that deep. Because if they admitted your growth was real, that would force them to admit they've stayed stagnant. A normal compliment affirms who you are. A weirdly specific one often highlights what you used to lack. It suggests this win is out of character, focuses on something tangential, so your core worth stays untouched. It's controlled admiration. It's like they're saying, I'll give you this little flower, but don't get too confident. I'm still above you. When I first started posting serious content, stuff about mindset, stoicism, purpose, I wasn't expecting huge support. But then a post went viral, old acquaintances came out of the woodwork, and one DM hit different. He said, "Yo, man, I'm actually shocked by your writing. Like, it's actually deep. Didn't know you had that in you far." I thanked him at the time, but later I couldn't shake it. Didn't know you had that in you. Translation: I had you mentally filed under mid, and you had the audacity to break out of the box I put you in. And look, maybe he meant well. But that's the thing. Some people are more attached to your limitations than your potential, because your growth disrupts their perception of the world. And rather than expand themselves, they just try to reframe your evolution as a fluke. Weirdly specific compliments are like, "Your outfit is so cute, very you." Okay? Is that good? Bad? Is very you a compliment or a roast? Or, "You're actually really photogenic online. So I look like a foot in person? Just say it, Jessica." We laugh. But here's the real kicker. These comments always come with a smile, a sweet tone, maybe even a hug, but that's the poison. That's what makes it insidious. It's sugar-coated sabotage. If someone can't compliment you without adding conditions, context, or surprise, it's not a compliment. It's an emotional ceiling disguised as support. Because deep down, what they're really saying is, "You're doing well for someone like you. You look good for your age. You're smart considering your background." It's comparison dressed as kindness. And sometimes, it's not even about you. It's about them not knowing how to process your progress. Don't let anyone rewrite your worth in backhanded bullet points. When people can't celebrate you directly, it says more about their insecurity than your value. Real love is clear. Real support is clean. No riddles. No riddles with razor blades in them. Here's a truth most won't say out loud. Some people want you to succeed, just not more than them. So they'll praise you, but only in a way that keeps them feeling superior. That's not love. That's emotional politics. What to do when you hear one? Here's the move. You smile, you nod, then you mentally file that person under. Supporter with surveillance energy. Not an enemy, not a bestie. Just someone whose approval you should never depend on. Because if a compliment comes with strings attached, it's not support, it's strategy. Number 5, they mock your dreams while laughing. Let's talk about one of the most toxic behaviors people normalize and even laugh along with. When someone mocks your dreams but does it with a laugh, like it's just a joke. Nah, let's not sugarcoat it. This is dream shaming disguised as banter. And the worst part? They always do it with a smile, a smirk, a light tone, like it's just harmless teasing, like they're just playing. But here's the thing. Mockery is rarely just about humor. More often than not, it's about hierarchy. You say, "I want to start a podcast." They say, "Mao, who's going to listen to you talk for an hour?" You say, "I'm thinking of starting my own business." They say, "Ooh, look out, Bezos." You mention, "I'm moving to New York to pursue acting." They laugh. You know how many people fail at that, bro? You better keep your day job. All smiles, all chuckles, but behind the laughter, there's control, subtle belittlement, and fear. Not yours, theirs. Because your dreams make them uncomfortable. Your ambition forces them to look in the mirror. And it's easier to laugh at your leap than confront their own stillness. Not everyone mocking your goals is a hater. Some are your own friends, your cousin, your coworker, even that supportive partner who low-key panics every time you outgrow your comfort zone. Why? Because when you say, "I'm going to do something bigger," what they hear is, "I might not stay small with you forever." That's terrifying for people whose only power in the relationship is keeping you humble, their weapon of choice. Years ago, I told a close friend, "I think I'm going to write seriously, build a platform, talk about mindset, psychology, real stuff." He laughed. Not cruelly, just casually. "Bro, you a writer? Man, stick to memes and one-liners. Deep stuff ain't your brand." Everyone laughed. I laughed too on the outside, but inside I felt something quietly die. That moment lingered, made me doubt, made me delay. I didn't write for months after that. I kept thinking, maybe he's right. Maybe I'm not meant for this. It took years and a hell of a lot of unlearning to realize just because someone says it with a laugh doesn't mean it's harmless. Sometimes the most dangerous discouragement comes drenched in jokes. Let's keep it real. If you tell someone you want to be a singer and they start beatboxing as a joke, they're not being cute. They're trying to shrink your dream to the size of their insecurity. If you say you want to travel the world and they reply, "You with what money?" That's not financial advice. That's emotional sabotage dressed up as sarcasm. We laugh along because we don't want to seem too sensitive. But if we're being honest, mockery is never neutral. It's either healing or harming. And if it doesn't lift you, it's lowering you. The human brain doesn't know how to fully laugh off shame. When someone mocks your vision, even as a joke,